Hey there, welcome back to my channel. I'm Cybersecurity Meg, and as always, I'm super stoked that you're here. In today's video, we're going to be going over Try Hack Me's Advent of Cyber Day number 6. Specifically, we're going to be talking about email analysis, a lot to do with phishing. Let's jump right into it. So the background of the story says, Elf McBlue found an email activity while analyzing the log files. It looks like everything started with an email. The task kind of describes our objectives for the day. We'll talk about what email analysis is, learn about email header sections, learn the essential questions to ask in email analysis, learn how to use email header sections to evaluate an email, learn to use additional tools to discover email attachments and conduct further analysis, and help the ELF team investigate the suspicious email received. Arguably the most important part of the video today. So what is email analysis and why is it important? TryHackMe kind of discerns the two various importances of email analysis. The first one being for security issues, as it says, identifying suspicious, abnormal, or malicious patterns in emails. And the second one being for performance issues. That's going to be such as if you're working in an organization and someone says, hey, my client sent me an email 10 hours ago and it just got delivered 20 minutes ago. Why did the email take 9.5 hours to get delivered? So those are kind of the two purposes of doing email analysis. The two kind of important things to do with the email analysis in terms of cybersecurity are going to be social engineering and phishing. If you're not familiar with it, social engineering is utilizing as it says, psychological manipulation to kind of convince people to give up information that they otherwise wouldn't be giving up, like personally identifiable information, personal health information, passwords, usernames, any kind of sensitive data that maliciously intentioned personnel could utilize to garner access or information that they shouldn't normally have. Phishing is a subset of social engineering. If you're not familiar with phishing, phishing is usually purporting to be someone or something that you are not to try to garner that sensitive information. In this case, we're talking about email phishing. So let's go on down to some of the most specific fields that you can see in email headers. The from, self-explanatory, the sender's actual address, to, who's receiving the address, date, that's when the email was sent, subject of the email, what's the email about, return path, that's who the email, if you were to respond to it, is going to be sent back to. Domain key and DKIM signatures, those are features of an email to help verify and authenticate who's sending the email. SPF, if you're not familiar with it, that stands for Sender Policy Framework. It essentially authenticates and verifies to the recipient of the email that the email you're receiving comes from the right server that should be sending that email. So if you were to receive an email from the domain at google.com, and then you go and check the IP address of who sent that email, the Sender Policy Framework is going to list the IP addresses and servers that belong to Google. So if you go and check Google's SPF records and the IP address that sent you that email isn't listed in Google's SPF record, that would tell you, it's likely that Google didn't actually send me this email and I'm receiving a phishing email. Message ID, it's just a unique ID of the email. MIME version, it helps you kind of understand the non-text contents and attachments within the email. X headers, the receiver mail providers usually add these fields. They're custom to each organization, so each organization can set their own. They're not the same across the board. X received, the mail servers that the email went through, the hops it took to get to the destination recipient. X spam status, spam score of the email, again, highly contingent upon each organization. Usually organizations like big Fortune 500 companies are utilizing email firewalls and email filters, so they'll set their own spam scores. And then X mailer is the email client name. Some important questions to ask when you're trying to do a quick analysis to discern if you're looking at a phishing email or not is looking at the from, to, and CC fields. Are these legitimate addresses that you would expect to be receiving email from? Are the from and to fields the same? Having the same sender and recipient is definitely a red flag. So if you get an email that purports to be from yourself, it's usually someone who's trying to spoof you and get you to open a malicious link. Do the from and return path fields align? So that's to say, is the person that's sending you the email the person that's going to receive the email back if you respond to that email? Was the email sent from the correct server? This all goes back to the SPF or sender policy framework we were talking about. This is essentially verifying, is the email that I'm receiving coming from an IP address that is authorized to be sending emails on behalf of the domain I'm receiving the email from? Does the message ID field exist and is it valid? If it's empty or inconspicuous, it's usually a red flag. Do the hyperlinks redirect to abnormal sites? If you just hover over a hyperlink, you can usually discern where that hyperlink is going to take you to. I recommend doing that instead of just clicking right out on the link. And do the attachments consist of or contain malware? You can typically upload an attachment to a free website like VirusTotal. We'll utilize VirusTotal later, and it'll tell you if the attachment is malicious or not. So let's go ahead and get right into our box for the day. It's a fun box. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and open our .email file, and we're going to open it in Sublime Text Editor. So what this does is it goes ahead and it highlights all of those header characteristics that we were just talking about: the subject, the from, the date, MIME version, content type, everything. It's a really nifty way to kind of highlight the various parts of the header with an easy ability to read it all. So what is the email address of the sender? That's going to be our from right here. So it's chief.elf@santaclaus.tryhackme. Boom. What is the return address? So if we just kind of scan down through our headers, we're going to see right here that it has the return path address. So the from address of the sender is actually different than who the email will be going back to. So that should, designate to us right off the bat. That's kind of fishy. It's going to be murphy.evident@bandityeti.tryhackme. Murphy.evident@ boom, on whose behalf was the email sent? So if we just come back up here in the from field, it tells us that the person who is sending this email is the chief elf. Who else would be sending the email, right? What is the X spam score? It tells us right here what the spam score is. It's going to be 3. What is hidden in the value of the message ID field? So what we're going to do is we are going to locate the message ID right here. I'm going to go ahead and copy it. And I personally prefer working outside of the box. We're just going to go to our base 64 decoder and paste it right in there. If you hit decode, then you're going to get the answer right here. AOC 2022 email analysis. Visit the email reputation check website provided in the task. What is the reputation result of the sender's email address? So the email reputation check website that they provide in the task, I have it open right here. It's going to be the email rep.io one. And so all I did was copy the sending email address in here and click search. And it tells you that the email reputation is risky. So we'll go back down and we'll type in risky. Check the attachments. What is the file name of the attachment? So the simplest thing to do, I just type find and then put in attachment. So it's going to tell us right here that the file name is Division of Labor Load Share Plan.doc. Go ahead and copy that. Go ahead and paste it in there. The next thing it's asking is, what is the hash value of the attachment? And so in order to do that, we're going to need to extract the attachment. Let me go ahead and pull this down. We'll close it off. Actually, we can probably exit out of Sublime. I don't think we're going to utilize it anymore. Go ahead and exit out of that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and open up our terminal, and they actually give us the commands that we're going to be using right here, which makes it really nifty. So the first thing we're going to do is utilize the email analyzer tool. I knew I needed to do that. I don't know why I stopped doing it. So let's go ahead and change directories into our desktop, and then we can run the extraction. So that goes ahead and tell us that the attachment has been extracted. If you see it here, it's on the desktop now. Go ahead and put that back up. So now that we've extracted the attachment, it wants us to identify the hash value of the attachment. So it tells us that the attachment was extracted into its email underscore attachment. So let's go ahead and change directories into there. And then we're going to use SHA-256 sum, division of labor. We'll go ahead and do that. And boom, that gives us the SHA-256 sum right here. I'm going to go ahead and copy that since it's asking us for. Perfect. Visit the VirusTotal website and use the hash value to search. Navigate to the behavior section. What is the second tactic marked in the MITRE attack section? So I already had VirusTotal open. All I did was search for the hash value in VirusTotal, and then I navigated down to the behavior section. If you scroll down and you look at MITRE attack tactics and techniques, it tells us the second one is defense evasion. Visit the Inquest website and use the hash value to search. What is the subcategory of the file? So I already have the Inquest website open. I'm just going to go ahead and navigate to it. Simply just went to the indicator lookup, pasted in the hash value, searched, expanded the screen, and it tells us the subcategory right here that it's going to be macro hunter. Perfect. And the last thing, this is completely up to you, but it says if you want to learn more about phishing and analyzing emails, check out the phishing module. So go ahead and check out the phishing module if you want to learn more about phishing emails. I hope that you found this super useful, and happy holidays, guys. I'll see you around soon. Bye.